We've all heard that solitude breeds strength, clarity, and self-mastery. But what happens when solitude lasts too long? Can you still spark that primal connection? Can you rebuild sexual tension after extended isolation? The answer is yes, but not without intention. When you've been in solitude for a long time, your sexual energy doesn't disappear, it simply gets redirected. Instead of expressing itself outwardly through attraction, interaction, and chemistry with others, it begins to fold inward. It fuels your thoughts, your introspection, your self-dialogue. At first, this might seem like you're losing your edge, but what's actually happening is a redirection of your primal force. It becomes dormant, like a fire with no oxygen. But the flame is still there, waiting. To rebuild sexual tension after that long stillness, you have to reclaim this energy, not in a desperate or performative way, but through purpose. A man who's deeply committed to something, whether it's his craft, his fitness, his business, or his philosophy, naturally begins to glow with a silent power. This purpose-centered energy is what begins to awaken your magnetism. It's what makes your presence feel different to people. It's not about needing attention or validation. It's about embodying a mission that commands attention without asking for it. When you're disconnected from purpose, even the most flirtatious or high-energy behavior comes across as hollow. But when you're in alignment with a meaningful goal, everything about you shifts. Your walk, your eye contact, your discipline, your calm. This alignment channels your energy into action, clarity, and strength. Women notice it. People feel it. You become less reactive, more intentional, and infinitely more attractive. You stop chasing moments and start creating them. So if you've been alone and feel like you've lost your ability to attract or connect, ask yourself, where is your energy going? Are you leaking it through overthinking, social media, porn, or self-doubt, or are you directing it towards something that sharpens you, that fuels you, that builds you into a man of substance? Sexual tension starts there, not with other people, but with how you've chosen to use your solitude. When you turn your loneliness into fuel and your isolation into mastery, you don't have to chase chemistry. It begins to find you. Sexual tension is not just about attraction. It's about polarity. It's the push and pull, the electric charge that exists when two opposing yet complementary forces meet. Masculine and feminine energy are not roles you play. They're energetic states you embody. And after a long period of solitude, one of the first things that often fades is your masculine polarity. It doesn't mean you've become less of a man. It means you've spent so much time in your own company, without contrast, without the dynamic interplay of masculine and feminine energies, that you've drifted into a neutral state. In solitude, especially prolonged solitude, you often fall into routines that are more reflective than assertive. You overthink rather than act. You contemplate rather than decide. You may become deeply self-aware, but also passive, hesitant, or emotionally flat. And this neutrality is the enemy of sexual tension. It creates a calm surface, but no undercurrent, no edge, no presence that can be felt across a room. To rebuild that masculine polarity, you have to reawaken your ability to lead, not in a controlling or forceful way, but in a grounded, assertive, and deliberate manner. Masculine polarity shows up in how you carry yourself, how you hold eye contact, how you take initiative, how you own your decisions. It's in your stillness, your discipline, your direction. It's the energy that says, I know where I'm going, and I don't need permission. And the truth is, when you radiate this kind of presence, Feminine energy responds to it instinctively, not because you said the right thing, but because your asterisk being asterisk carries weight. It's not about dominance, it's about being anchored in your truth, in your purpose, in your ability to move forward without hesitation. But to do that, you need to start making decisions again. You need to take action, take risks, make plans and follow through. Stop floating in reflection and step back into direction. Engage in activities that challenge you physically and mentally. Speak with intention. Move with purpose. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Masculine polarity is not a look, it's an energy, a deep, grounded presence that people feel before you ever open your mouth. After solitude, you may feel like you've gone soft or lost your edge, but polarity can be rebuilt. It starts with choosing to stop overanalyzing and start acting. You don't need to overcompensate with bravado or arrogance. You just need to remember what it feels like to be clear, decisive, and unapologetically you. Polarity is born in contrast, and once you step fully into your masculine frame, you'll find that sexual tension begins to rebuild naturally, because the world can feel the charge coming off of you. When you've been in solitude for a long time, your social instincts can grow dull, not gone, but dormant. You become used to your own rhythm, your own company, your own thoughts. And while solitude can be deeply healing and clarifying, it can also make you socially numb, emotionally reserved, and disconnected from the subtle nuances of human interaction. Rebuilding sexual tension after this kind of isolation doesn't require jumping back into the deep end of social life. It requires a slow, intentional re-engagement with the world around you. You don't have to suddenly become the most charismatic man in the room. In fact, trying too hard after being alone for a long time can come off as inauthentic and forced. The key is to start small, but with full presence. Eye contact is a powerful place to begin. Look people in the eyes when you speak. Hold the gaze just a little longer than you're used to. You're not trying to dominate the moment. You're simply allowing connection to happen without fear or withdrawal. Next comes body language. After solitude, you might unconsciously close off. Crossed arms, downward glances, a slouched posture. These subtle cues send signals to others that you're not open to interaction. But when you become aware of your physical presence, how you sit, how you stand, how you move, you begin to project openness, confidence, and calm control. And this creates the foundation for tension to build. People feel when someone is fully present in their body, aware of their space, and unapologetically grounded. Flirtation, too, should be subtle and strategic. You don't need clever lines or exaggerated gestures. Start with your energy, a small smirk, a quiet compliment, a well-timed pause in conversation. These things speak volumes. They suggest confidence without neediness, interest without desperation. And they allow for space where tension can live and grow. You also have to give yourself permission to be seen again. That can be difficult after a long stretch of being alone. You may carry the residue of isolation, a fear of judgment, a hesitation to express desire, a tendency to overthink every move. But the only way to dissolve that is by stepping back into connection slowly and allowing real moments to unfold naturally. Strategic re-engagement doesn't mean forcing connections or putting yourself in situations that feel overwhelming. It means being deliberate about your exposure to interaction, choosing environments where you can practice presence, where you can observe and respond, where you can get used to the rhythm of others again. Maybe it's conversations with strangers in a coffee shop, Maybe it's joining a group or attending events where connection happens organically. The point is to recondition your nervous system to being asterisk in the world asterisk, instead of just watching it from the outside. Tension isn't created in grand gestures. It's created in micro moments, those small, almost imperceptible shifts in energy that spark curiosity, attraction, and desire. And the more you immerse yourself in those moments with full awareness, the more naturally you begin to rebuild your capacity for sexual tension. You're not performing. You're remembering how to connect with your environment, with your instincts, and eventually with someone who feels the electricity return to your presence. One of the most underrated elements of sexual tension is mystery. In a world where oversharing is the norm, mystery has become rare and therefore powerful. After a long period of solitude, it can be tempting to explain yourself when you re-enter social spaces. You might feel the urge to over-justify where you've been, what you've been doing, why you've been distant, or why you've stayed away from dating. But what you need to understand is this. People are more attracted to what they don't know than to what is fully disclosed. Attraction thrives on curiosity, and curiosity dies the moment everything is laid out on the table too quickly. When you embrace mystery, you give people space to imagine, to wonder, and to project their own curiosity onto you. That's where the seed of sexual tension is planted. It's not about manipulation or playing games. It's about restraint. It's about allowing your depth to be revealed slowly, layer by layer, instead of all at once. You've been through things during your solitude, internal battles, reflections, perhaps even transformations. Let that depth show not through explanation, but through how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how little you feel the need to prove. Every man who has spent significant time in solitude has a story, but not every story needs to be told immediately. You might have grown spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Maybe you've healed wounds or rebuilt parts of yourself in silence. That silence carries weight. Let that weight be felt without constantly narrating it. A short, thoughtful answer will always do more than a long, winded one, especially when it comes to attraction. When you reveal everything at once, you kill the tension. When you hold back just enough, you create an unspoken invitation for the other person to lean in, to want to know more. Mystery also shows up in how you respond to emotional energy. If someone tries to push you into vulnerability too quickly, or seeks to define you before they've earned your trust, you don't owe them your story, you owe them your presence. You can be warm, open, and engaging without being emotionally naked. You don't have to disclose every past relationship, every failure, or every inner struggle to prove your sincerity. Sincerity is felt in your tone, in your self-respect, in how you manage your emotions, not in how many confessions you make. The essence of sexual tension is found in restraint. The same way a powerful film doesn't show everything at once, the same way great music uses silence to build drama. A man who understands tension knows that what's unsaid is often more compelling than what's spoken. That means allowing pauses in conversation. It means resisting the urge to constantly fill silences or entertain. It means knowing that your presence, calm, grounded, and slightly enigmatic, is more memorable than a flood of details. Women, especially intuitive ones, are incredibly perceptive. They feel when a man is holding something deeper within him, and it draws them in. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're not trying to be completely understood from the start. You're not trying to perform or impress. You're simply being without apology or urgency, and that unspoken confidence, that quiet refusal to overshare, becomes a magnet. It creates a gravitational pull that's impossible to fake. So instead of explaining your solitude or trying to catch someone up on your journey, let them experience who you are now. Let them feel the weight of your presence without the need for a backstory. Let your actions, your demeanor, your eyes, and your energy tell the story piece by piece. When you embrace mystery, you don't just rebuild sexual tension. You become the source of it. After being in solitude for a long time, one of the biggest mistakes a man can make when he re-engages with women is rushing the interaction, rushing the connection, rushing the intimacy. It's often driven by a subconscious feeling of urgency, like you've been away too long and now you need to catch up. But tension isn't created through speed, it's created through pace, control, rhythm. One of the most seductive qualities a man can develop, especially after a long period of isolation, is the ability to slow everything down. When a man controls the tempo of his interactions, he becomes the conductor of the energy between him and the other person. He creates space where desire can grow, where silence becomes charged, where every glance, every gesture, every word carries more weight. It's not about being passive or hesitant. It's about being deliberate, intentional. A man who moves slowly and speaks with calm assurance communicates that he is not desperate, that he is not chasing, and that he's entirely comfortable with himself and the moment. That kind of control is magnetic. Women are highly attuned to tempo. They feel it in the way you speak, the way you touch, the way you respond. If you rush, they sense anxiety. If you hesitate out of fear, they sense weakness. But if you move with presence, like a man who has nothing to prove and nothing to force, they sense confidence. And in that confidence, they feel safe to lean in. They begin to follow your rhythm. That's when the dynamic shifts. That's when the tension begins to simmer slowly beneath the surface. After solitude, you may be tempted to go fast because you miss connection. You crave it. You want to feel seen and desired again. But you have to understand that sexual tension doesn't come from instant gratification. It comes from delayed gratification, from your willingness to let the moment breathe, from knowing that the longer you hold the gaze, the more powerful it becomes, that the longer you wait to touch, the more intense the anticipation becomes, that the less you say, the more your energy speaks. Tempo also applies to the emotional aspect of the interaction. Don't pour your feelings out immediately. Don't rush into defining what the connection is or what it should be. Let the moment evolve naturally. Let her reveal herself over time. Let the story unfold slowly, like a novel you don't want to end. When you rush, you take away the mystery. You take away the dance. You skip over the very part that creates the electricity. The asterisk not knowing asterisk. The asterisk maybe asterisk. The asterisk what if asterisk. When you can control the tempo, you show that you're not in a hurry to escape the moment. You're not looking for an outcome. You're enjoying the process. That's rare, that's powerful, that's unforgettable. Most men either talk too much or do too little. They overthink or overact. But the man who is calm, grounded, and in control of the pace, he builds something far more intense than attraction. He builds anticipation, and anticipation is the very essence of sexual tension. Even in simple interactions, like a casual conversation, a walk, or a shared silence, your ability to slow down allows for something deeper to surface. People don't remember the man who rushed to impress them. They remember the man who made time stop, even if just for a moment. So as you return from solitude, don't try to speed your way back into connection. Learn to own the tempo because when you master the rhythm of interaction, you don't chase tension. You create it. After a long period of solitude, one of the most critical shifts you must make is moving from being mentally dominant to being energetically present. In isolation, you often live inside your head. You analyze, reflect, plan, and contemplate. You rehearse scenarios, prepare conversations, think about what you would say or do in a situation. And while this mental sharpening has its benefits, it builds self-awareness and clarity, it also dulls your ability to be fully in the moment. Sexual tension, however, doesn't live in your thoughts. It lives in your presence. In the energy you emit right now without overthinking it. Presence is felt. It's visceral. It's the unspoken signal that you are here, not distracted, not calculating, not rehearsing, but deeply tuned in to the person in front of you and the moment you're sharing. When a man is fully present, he sees everything. He notices subtle shifts in tone, body language, energy. He doesn't just listen to what is being said. He hears what's not being said. He reads between the lines. He feels the tension rise without needing to analyze it. And that level of awareness is rare, especially in a world where most people are half checked out, constantly distracted by their phones or their inner monologue. Coming out of solitude, you must train yourself to re-enter your body, to ground yourself in the now. That begins with the breath. Deep, steady breathing anchors your nervous system and immediately roots you in presence. It's not about taking exaggerated breaths, it's about being aware of them. When you control your breath, you regulate your energy, and when your energy is calm and steady, you radiate an aura of composure that others feel instantly. Being present also means being comfortable with silence. Most men, especially after time alone, feel pressure to fill every gap in conversation, to prove they're interesting or engaging. But true presence doesn't rush to entertain. It allows space to exist between words. It lets the silence do some of the talking. A pause, held with confidence, can be more seductive than a perfectly crafted sentence, because it shows you're not trying to win approval. You're just being and that beingness creates an irresistible pull. Presence also sharpens your intuition. It helps you know when to lean in, when to pull back, when to touch, when to wait. It helps you connect on a deeper level without trying so hard. The more present you are, the more naturally your instincts guide you. You don't need to strategize. You don't need to remember lines. You just feel your way through the moment, and that creates a sense of flow, where the interaction becomes less about performance and more about energy exchange. But to get there, you must first trust yourself again. Solitude can cause doubt. You may question your ability to connect, to attract, to seduce. You might worry that you've forgotten how, but the truth is, you haven't. You just haven't practiced presence in a while, and presence isn't something you learn. It's something you remember. It's who you are when you stop trying to be someone else. The most attractive men are not the ones who say the right things. They're the ones who can hold space with unwavering attention. They make a woman feel like she's the only thing that matters in that moment, not through flattery or performance, but through total energetic focus. And that focus builds tension without a single word. It creates chemistry without needing explanation. It's the kind of presence that makes someone lean in without knowing why, because presence is power. And after solitude, when you reclaim it, everything changes. You stop trying to connect and start asterisk embodying asterisk connection itself. So if you've been in solitude for too long and you're wondering whether you can rebuild that raw, magnetic energy known as sexual tension, the answer is yes. But it won't come from chasing, performing, or rushing. It will come from remembering your presence, remembering your polarity, remembering that mystery, restraint, tempo, and energy are tools already within you. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to return to the man you were before the world got too loud. The man who didn't speak to impress, but who made people feel something simply by being in the room. That man still exists, and the moment you choose to step back into the world, not to prove anything, but to feel everything, you'll find that sexual tension isn't something you have to create. It's something you naturally radiate.